All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast that never ends. It never ends because every day I find the opportunity to learn more and more about what's going on out there with everybody else. I also learn more and more that everybody has rants, raves, beefs, issues, and things. And they're all getting written down, and they're all being parts and amassed to more and more opportunities called these episodes that I do for this Arena of Ideas podcast. All right. So this is, of course, your podcast. I'm the host, of course, Mike Kingston. The places you can find this, I've got a plethora of them. The ones I'm presently on, iHeart, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, Speaker with an R. Again, big props to those guys. Heard a commercial one day, and the rest has been history for at least this now the 31st episode. All right, so Spreaker, let's see. Castbox, Deezer, Pod Addict, Pod Chaser, GeoSavin, Podvine. It's also on YouTube. It just kind of about episode 22 and up is where you can listen on YouTube. I want everyone to go back and listen, of course, all of them, but hey, it's on YouTube as well. If you want to, if you find that format to be the easiest, simplest way to listen, guess what? I don't care. Whatever it takes to get this message and everything else out there to everyone else, that's what matters most. All right. So that basically lays out where you can get the content and everything else that is called this format. All right. So anyway, that's the ways in which to do that. You can also answer back by my email, michaelkingston723@yahoo.com. You've got my phone number in there. If you can look in the information box, or if you just ask me, I'll give you the phone number. Someone pretty smart said, hey, you shouldn't be publishing out your phone number on the podcast itself, but also get it out there where people can use it. All righty. So, excuse me. Anyway, and then there's also word of mouth. You've also got the other 4 ways, which is FIST, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. You can also do it by that way too. And, I haven't seen much on there yet, but that's okay. Hey, this is just a process. I'm just trying to build this brand, build this opportunity and everything else up there. I really am. I'm trying to get it up there and get it out and get it moving. I'm trying to get the word out to the people. I try to ask at least 5 people a day to try and introduce themselves, to a podcast, because a lot of people don't know what a podcast is. Secondly, explaining my podcast and trying to, give them the opportunity to, download one of those easy places to listen, like I just listed, and then also get into it. All right. I am the conduit of content, the voice of the people for the people. Excuse me, and by the people. This is an all-information podcast wielding truth, humor, wit, sarcasm like a verbal weapon. Before that, actually, sorry guys, I'm just trying to do the best I can do here. This is the experiment at the crossroads between content and conversation reinvented. This is a podcast for anything, everything, all things, everyone. This is your place to be. The Triad of Talk, the Forum of Focus. There's also, and these are kind of the ideas and attitudes, if you will, of what goes on here. Straight fire, no holds barred, off the cuff, shoot from the hip, wake up call. Those there's spontaneous questions you may be asking yourself, or we should want to see as putting in an episode. It doesn't matter. Epic fail, social mania, nothing's out of bounds, gloves are off, step your game up, oh, by the way, give me an A, give me an F, and so on. And I already listed the part about being the kind of, for the people, by the people and all that. Well, I'm also adding this in. See, if you're screaming at the TV, the radio, the sky, or in your head over the BS that's out there, this is your place to be. I'm just trying to live my best life here in this podcast. If you've got the following, if you could answer yes to any of the following and or beyond whatever I've written here or what I have down, You need to sit there and be here, okay? Rants, raves, beefs, issues, pet peeves, OCD, all are accepted here. The hows, whys, LOL, ROFL, WTF, are you kidding me? You're killing me. Whatever gets you up in the morning, whatever keeps you up way late at night, guess what? You need to be here. And I kind of came up with this little mantra too, okay? I am a man, a message, and a microphone, all right here for you, okay? This is, of course, the 31st episode or installment of the Arena of Ideas podcast. Bullies on parade, the hate they create. Again, that bullies on parade, the hate they create. That's what this whole one's going to be about. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to jump into some bumper music, and then we're going to get right into the subject of what I just mentioned, aforementioned, excuse me. So what we're going to do right now, like I said, we'll get into that. We're going to bring up some tunes as a bumper. And then we're right back here with the Arena of Ideas podcast, episode 31, Bullies on Parade, the hate they create. We'll be right back. All right. We are back. I thank all of you again for being here. You know, if it's not for the people out there and the ones that matter, which is everyone, and this opportunity and everything else, you know, it's really bringing out a lot of different issues and topics and things that they're important, man. They're important to you. They're important to me. And everyone either goes through, experiences this, or becomes a part of it, or sees it in life, and it's just mind blowing of the different things that are going on and ways in which we need to approach them. All right. So without further ado, you know, again, this is Bullies, episode 31, Bullies on Parade, the hate they create. Again, Bullies on Parade, I kind of took from a song by Rage Against the Machine. They do a song called Bulls on Parade. So yeah, if you're going, man, this sounds awfully familiar, I don't know why. All right. So anyway, that's what I did. Yeah, I kind of took it. It's a great title, right? It's a great song. So anyway, opening up this thing, there's a song by a band called Shinedown, and the song is called Bully. Obviously, I can't play trademark music by somebody. Can't do it. It's not allowed. It is frowned upon, right? So anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to read the lyrics, some of the lyrics to it. Really makes a lot, you know, I didn't really realize what was going on with this until I read the lyrics for it. The song, I do know it's about being bullied, but hey. Oh, and then real quick, obviously everyone's gone through some form of this somehow, some way, and you don't really realize, maybe you don't realize you're a part of it. And we're going to get some, you know, phone numbers out there, maybe even a website, or maybe even places on Facebook and stuff. You can check this out as awareness. If you're going through all the situations in this episode, please, by all means, you know, talk to family, friends, talk to whoever you confide in to help you try and get through this process, and or talk to the hotline or something else that's going to get you through this. And we don't want to see this happen to anybody, but it does. It's been prevalent. It's been a hot button topic. And that's why I'm out here discussing this as we speak. Actually, let me do this first before I do this, lyrics to the song. There's a gentleman named Caesar. He's from Pueblo. He knows who he is. There's a girl. She wants to go by just the letter D, but she's actually an amazing, wonderful person too. Everybody I bring out for even the listener list and everything. Oh, actually, Hold on, I'm going to have to give you that list real quick before we do all this. So hold on a second. All right, actually, man, I skipped a couple things, guys. You know what? That's why to be human is to err, and you just do the best you can do, right? So the disclaimer for the Arena of Ideas podcast, right? The views and opinions expressed in this and all Arena of Ideas podcast episodes are that of the host and guests, not to be taken out of context, misrepresented by any means possible, period. Right? And who's listening? You've got England, Ireland, Australia, India. I'm sure everywhere else around the world. A lot of these places are listening on Apple Podcasts. I didn't mention that part, but that covers that part there. Okay, so what I've done is, and this is kind of a new deal, but anyway, what I'm trying to do, if I don't have you on this list, I've got, this is the AOI podcast listener contributors club. And what it is anyone that's ever been mentioned in any of the episodes, right? If I keep your name off this list, tell me. If you think you should be on this list because you're listening, tell me. You got all these different ways in which you can communicate and talk to me and get back at me for this podcast, right? So I'm going to go down this list. I'm probably missing some people, but what I need is I need you guys to get out there and be listening and contributing and tell me what's going on. Look, it's your podcast. I'm the host. This is simply the man, the message, and the microphone, right? I'm out there. I do come up with a lot of these ideas myself, but it's you out there, you wonderful people listening. That's what makes a difference. And that's why this is different than all the other places out there. Also forgot to mention that, the talking heads that are out there and the personalities and everybody else, they're giving you lip service. They're sitting there. They're just saying what you want to hear. They're saying what they're reading because someone told them to say it, or they have people writing a script for them or something. Look, mine isn't like that at all. This is real. It's real service in real time for all of you out there, or real talk in real time, whatever way you want to put that. But anyway, again, I have this list, and it's a growing list. It started out with just a few people other than the ones actually doing episodes. Well, as people are listening and they're contributing, some contribute and listen, right? They do everything. Awesome. So anyway, so I'm going to go down this list, and then we'll just get right into the heart of the episode. Sorry, I didn't do this exactly in order, but you know what? That's okay. I don't edit anything. Again, we don't do anything like that. It's simply what you're hearing is what you're hearing. If something happens, something happens. Okay, so it's quite an extensive list. Here we go. Again, adding in all the people that have ever contributed anything to all the previous 30 episodes, anything at all, they're also in there, right? So, all right, so we got Tim from Colorado Springs, Savannah from Colorado Springs. She's also helping with content and everything else too. So is Tim. Kenny from Colorado Springs, Detonia, Pueblo, Jen, Pueblo, Nick, Pueblo, Adriana. I'm just going to give off the list. The locations of where they're at. I mean, we're good. I'm just going to go down the list of all the people. Adriana, Chris, Chantel, Antonio. You know who you are, Antonio. Big props. Shout out to you. Tip of the cap. Brian, Jackie, Jared, Art, Mike, Walt, Lori, Lonnie, Mark, Lexus, Eddie. There's 2 Lexuses. One in Springs, one in Pueblo. Sharon, Felicia, Emilio, Craig, another Sharon there. John, Orlando, Caesar, Don, Eachwist, the rapper, he was in episode 30. Brandon, Gabby, Melissa, Mark, Joelle, Devin, Lankisha, Aisha, Tammy, Christine, Eric, and so on. In fact, I'm sure there's more than that. Again, this is what I've actually listed. This is what I've actually put out there for all of you. Okay? So anyway, that gives you kind of an idea of what's going on. That gives you an idea of the people that are in the Listener Contributor Club. And again, all it takes for membership is to just sit there, find one of those places you can listen, download the app, if you will, for whatever, any of those places. I have them all downloaded. I go in to make sure that all the episodes make it through. Get in there, you listen. Then you go to the next step, which is you're in the club. Easy, simple. I just wanted to make sure it was a way to tip of the cap and a thank you to all the people out there being a part of this podcast, the Arena of Ideas podcast. Your podcast, I'm the host. All right. So now that I've gone through and taken everything out of sequence, well, like I said, this is a living, breathing entity known as a podcast, not just, some whatever. I do all this. I have this laid out, but you know what? And the best intentions, you want to be perfect and everything else. Well, we just do the best we can do. So now we're back to the song Bully by a band called Shine Down. They're a modern metal band. I thought it was apropos, given the context and the content of what's going on. So again, the song's called Bully. This is the lyrics for it. Again, I'm no vocalist. I'm not the guy that can sing lights out like the vocalist for this band. But we'll get to the lyrics and we'll move on to the meat of what's happening in this episode. All right, it's 8 a.m. This hell I'm in. Seems I've crossed a line again for being nothing more than who I am. So break my bones, throw your stones. We all know that life ain't fair. But there's more of us. We're everywhere. We don't have to take this back against the wall. We don't have to take this. We can end it all. All you'll ever be is a fading memory of a bully. Make another joke while they hang another rope so lonely. Wow. Powerful. Put them in the dirt till the words don't hurt. You can hear me. No one's going to cry till the very day you die. You're a bully. Think it through. You can and do whatever I see, black and blue. I feel the past. I share the bruise with everyone who's come and gone. My head is clear. My voice is strong. Now I'm there to right the wrong. Wow. There's more to the song than that. Just wanted that to get out there and make sure that was a part of what was going on. I wanted that to be the open. There is no pretty way to explain this. Everyone's gone through this. Okay. Again, big shout outs and props to, there's more than just these two, but these two had some very, just very situations kind of up close and personal dealing with the situations here. Again, big props and shout outs again, in kind of a sad way, but again, these need to get out there, and anything that's important to you, important to me, and important to everyone else, I'm here to, I'm the man, the message, and the microphone. So I want to get the messages out there. I want everything out there. So big shout out, big props to Caesar, to D. They're both from Pueblo. They know who they are. All right. Anyway, this is, again, Bullies on Parade. The hate they create is basically it's this episode. All right. There's the forums, there's mental duress, there's physical, there's cyber, emotional, how the causal effect younger slopes the outcome in life. Becoming a bully, death, and an outcast. Bullies are insecure, narcissistic, shallow, self-loathing. If unchecked, also if bullies get a free pass, they can become a part of the world, giving out serial killings or even mass shootings. We don't really know. I mean, this is just, again, I don't play a doctor. This is me my podcast. And this is another exercise in awareness. It's a way in which to get the information out there and all that. So look, I'm just giving you ideas of what it could lead to. These could be the domino effects or the steps, the breadcrumbs leading to these situations happening. I am not a doctor. I don't play one. I'm just, again, this is an awareness exercise, getting out the information and wanting to make sure that it's in the forefront of what goes on. Look, not every topic leads. It bleeds. Not everything matters, but not everything makes the top of the news where the talking heads and everyone else can sit there, chop it up and make it this national thing. Again, I'm just saying, if you have these unchecked situations and they can go through and continue to perpetuate this, being this bully, there's going to be problems, and they're going to become, who knows, to society, a menace to society, right? It's going to be a big problem. It's going to be a situation where we're all going to have to be fearful of what happens. And we don't want that. Who wants that in your life? Nobody does. Right? So again, they can become a serial killer. They could go on rampages. There could be mass shootings running rampant. There's a lot of this running rampant in America. They just not call it bullying, right? They're calling it hate crimes or whatever else they're calling it. That's what I'm saying. The victims of bullying may also either in their lives remain in a state of complete fear or even becoming a bully themselves due to the experience, meaning that they get beaten down. They keep getting beaten down, getting tired of being mistreated, and every day after school or during lunch or something else, they get thrown off to the side and they get, you get punched and kicked to the ground and all those other bad things, right? Well, some people, the phases are basically, you get bullied, you stand up for yourself, you fight back, and you move on. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're a passive person, and maybe it doesn't happen that way to you. Again, and by the way, everyone, you could chime in and comment on this. Give me all your stories. Give me everything else that happens. I want to hear and see what's going on. Again, I come up with these issues and everything else, and I have all this going on. But look, ultimately, it's you guys out there that makes this what it is, right? Makes it great. And again, if you yourself have gone in and felt these situations happening to you, and again, I'm going to go into some symptoms later on what's happening. Again, this happens to everyone. You just may not realize you're actually in the middle of all that. You may not realize you're being bullied. I have talked to a few people and broached this topic and what's going to happen. And, people are going up to me saying, well, I actually didn't realize I was being bullied. He just thought they were being mean or something. Right. So anyway, in a world of ultra-violence, video games, and lawless society, seems like a playground for bullies to perpetuate control, fear, hostility towards others. In reality, society, and the world, right? It happens everywhere. Everyone has had to deal with others as a kid, work, school, and public. You fill in the blank on that one. Whatever you're seeing as a situation, trust me, I've gone through it. Everyone's gone through it. And that's the reason why these are such hot button and important topics of discussion that I want out there. Look, I've got well over 50 different ideas and topics, from mental health, this being about bullies. I've got ones on every kind of facet of everything. Because again, what's an arena of ideas? It's about anything, everything, all things, right? So don't be afraid. If you harbor this ill will and these gloomy, sad feelings inside because of something like this, hey, get it out there. Make sure you talk to who you confide with, or go to a hotline, or do something else. I don't care what avenue you have to do, even if it's talking to me here or giving out having enough confidence and laying your heart out even here through email or through whatever else you want to do in which to get back to this podcast. Look, it doesn't matter. I want to know that you matter. We care, this listening audience. Again, I consider all of you my family and friends. and everything else. Look, it's again, this is just another way in which to be aware, be advised, and know that you matter, and everything else that goes on in life with you in it and everything else. I want to see everyone walking the planet. I want to see these bad things that can happen to people, like in this episode. All right. So, and even with families, etc., so on and so forth, you can sit there and make sure, whoever you confide with, it doesn't matter. You might be on your own, living alone. You might be anywhere, but look, whoever you find as a refuge, as someone, who's there for you, who can be equal to you and everything else and what you look up to. That's what matters. Look, just know that it's how we deal with bullies, and always know you can be the bigger person, the adult in any situation. You can really help in life, right? It just depends on the person and how you cope and deal with confrontation. That's really what it comes down to, right? That's what it's about. So basically, it's beyond all. If it's beyond all you have tried to do in crisis, just again reach out. I'll be giving out phone numbers and websites and everything else. Confide in your doctor, your psychologist, whatever it's going to be that is your comfort level and comfort zone. By all means, please do. Seek help, police, parents, and others. Don't shut down and give up your value and have things to add to a life and the future for yourself. This has been Facts, Opinions about this episode. If you have things to add to the episode, or if this subject helps one person to cope, relate, and feel better about dealing with others, and you're more aware of what's going on simply because you listened to this episode here. You came in for the first time, and you're going, okay, well, I want to check out this podcast. You download it and everything else, and you go right to this, and you see this and go, you know what? I want to hear that. And this is the first impression of this podcast and everything else, and this, what I consider family and friends. Like I said, look, I want to let you know that, welcome to the Arena of Ideas. Secondly, appreciate it. Totally do. I just want you guys all to know that this is out there for you, and this is the voice of the people, for the people, and by the people for a reason. Just know you're not alone. In order to appreciate the light, we all must experience our personal abyss of darkness, rising above it all, right? Like in an airplane, metaphorically, must take care of ourselves, then others, meaning that if we're going to go into an accident or have a problem or something, everyone out there, what they'll do is they always say that take care of yourself first, give yourself oxygen, take care of yourself first, and then go take care of others. Same thing with kind of you metaphorically as a person. Again, I don't play a doctor. I just know this, that if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of anyone else? You can't. And even be there for them, be a shoulder to cry on, a conversation, whatever's going on, right? There is strength in numbers, meaning that everyone can back everyone else up, and we can all be a part of the chain of positive and winning ways to stand up for yourselves, and make sure you're fighting the good fight, or metaphorically, if you want to look at it. Anyway, here are ways that you can stand among your peers. You matter, and know this podcast is a safe space, right? Allowing to be respected and appreciated without fear and bias. AOI is here. You're among friends here, among friends and family, like I said. All right. Now that we have broken down the definitions and ideas of what's it about, like everything in life, you can't judge a book by its cover, because every race, creed, gender, so on and so forth, hide behind the facade of being a bully or victim, right? You're either a bully or you're a victim. It's not, if you're in the middle trying to stop everything, that's great. You're trying to stop the process, everything. But basically, you're either a bully or a victim. Through this process, some will sit on the sidelines, right? Apathetic, turning a blind eye to what's in front of them. Some people will not jump in and help out or see what's going on. That, it's what they believe in. This is wrong, but they won't say anything, right? And not everyone will do that. Some people will just sit on the sidelines or walk away, turn a blind eye, and not even think about what's going on. And, that's a bad situation, but, it happens. You have different people, and different people believe in different things and believe in helping other people differently. All right. So with society, it's easy to confront issues, problems from afar, right? Like people online using, keyboard warriors and their Twitter muscles or whatever else, like to sit there and talk bleep about everybody else in any situation. Well, guess what? It's easy to do that, right? Yet faced with this dilemma, or you're actually involved, not realizing you're on the business end or receiving end of it, the lines of reality become blurred. So the following is my overview flow chart. At the end of each point is a question mark, right? So basically, if you're hearing and seeing all this and you're wondering, am I being bullied? It could be your family. It could be friends. It could be anything. You got all these different personalities. You got toxic personalities, aggressive personalities. You have all these different things and the different chains across as in how people look at things, right? So again, at the end of each is a question mark we all ask ourselves, right? As we delve into this subject matter, the bully victim paradigm, okay? Let's see, have a sender receiver to carry out what is the end result here of patterns of abuse, right? And the prism and optics of heinous happenings. Root cause. Well, this is really important because when you're born, you don't just pick up either the bully or victim persona and then act out and then you act out. So you need to realize that all things in life are a learned experience, right? In life, positive. You're not born and you just don't become these people, right? You don't have this name tag. I'm a bully. I'm this, I'm that, whatever you want to call it, right? So, and as we learn experience in life, positive or negative, besides breathing, which is involuntary, meaning body replicates it, means it happens for you automatically. Involving meaning, profiles. Bullies are a alpha aggressive personality and who is looking for a negative attention and getting what they want at every turn in life. I might be also have been the victim of being bullied and the way I'm now reacting to the way being treated through a history of violence, emotional issues, duress, mental and physical. Now they're the ones giving it out, right? They're the ones actually doing those bad things. So basically, it could have been learned. It could have been you growing up. You keep getting beaten down. Like I said, you keep getting beaten down. You keep all these bad things keep happening to you. You just keep being passive, and then all of a sudden a switch flips, right? A switch turns on you, and the next thing you know, you're the one now being that person. So instead of being the best person you can be and everything else, you're now doing this. This is what's happening with you, right? I mean, just saying, it could be any one of those situations. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Again, I don't condone any of this at all. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want anyone else to be bullied. You don't want anything bad to happen to anyone. You wish the best for everyone else so you yourself can have a great life. Well, in this situation here, this is prominent. It's happening. In fact, we've already addressed a few people such as Caesar and D that had these ideas and had situations happen to them that, not to them personally, but just saying that they were relating information about the situation. And I'm not implicating anyone. I don't. It's first name only. But it matters and it needs to be discussed and talked about. And again, that's why we're here. And again, at any time throughout this entire process, you're listening and you're all of a sudden on either the bully end or the victim end, you can raise your hand. Please, by all means, there's outlets out there. There's ways in which on websites, I'm sure there's stuff on social media and everything else, dealing with many topics above and beyond even this one. Please, by all means, reach out. Even if it's here, reach out, give comments, whatever you want to say. Look, it matters. That's why we're putting it out, and it's no joke, because I do have a comedy corner with jokes, but look, it's no joke. It's a epidemic happening everywhere. You don't want to see bad things happen and cruel things happen to people, but man, it's, we got to face facts, face our demons, face our foes, face our fears, and all things else, right? So, back to it. All right. Victims are on the receiving end and also usually are codependent, passive, and don't realize if they would just take a stand or stand up for themselves, could stop the insanity. They could. Again, you're seeing a word again. Sorry about that, guys. All right. What you're seeing out there, though, is a lot of things are happening. You got a lot of situations where laws are not really being followed, and in different cities, communities, states, and otherwise, a lot of things aren't being followed and being corrected. So bad element and bad people can see that they can go out and steal, they can rob, they can, beat people down, do whatever, and not reap the repercussions. They've really eased back a lot of these different rules and laws that we've have in place. And so you're getting a lot of that too. It's even being trickling down into schools and everything else. People figure out if you can go unchecked and you don't have a problem, and if you do something and don't get in trouble for it, you can keep doing it. So that can also happen too in this whole process, right? So again, the victim, that's about the victim right there. Yet on today, with a ultra-violent society and apathetic attitude of social media, creates a void for the individual, right? Strength in numbers versus toxic interaction. Important. Again, another counterpoint here, dealing with this topic right here, right? So basically, what you have are two outcomes that can shape the ones involved, the community, everyone. Toxic interaction, right? Toxic interaction is where you have a habitual and chronic situation, a pattern of abuse that can cause injury, strife, death on all levels. That's horrible. Strength in numbers, gathering up, being a part of a bunch of people. You get a bunch of people together. They're all standing for what they believe in. They're standing up for the situation, facing their fears and everything else. That's what you do. So in a great way, we all can face the fear created by these bullies and the demons and evil possessed, right? Just like there is good in everyone, and just like the person perplexed with a question to ponder. An angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, right? Good and bad, good and evil. The proverbial fork in the road is a decision like to or not to bully, right? If given the chance, maybe some people don't have a choice. Maybe they do have a choice. Maybe they can also take this and do a self-check and make sure that they're okay. And they don't do that. Hopefully not at the fork. Hopefully at the fork, they don't plow right down the middle, which is, I don't give a bleep about anything. They run through it like they're running through a freaking barricade, right? So just remember this this is a rampant problem and needs awareness and a presence globally. A presence globally to try and stop this from happening through conversation, counseling, awareness, and self-assessment. Those are good tools to have, right? 1 out of 5 of school-aged kids fall victim. It happens more to guys than girls. 46% have reported it. And again, I'm not trying to beat people over the head with all these numbers and everything else. That's for the big people that have these researchers and producers and all these other things. They have all these things they can look up and give statistics all day long. I just know that for the most part, it's mostly guys, because usually guys are the hunter-gatherers and protectors, right? Most of the time. So, to the adults or authorities, the police. So here are some warning signs and what to look out for traits. And know that in many cases, mental health is affected, right? For the victims. Because what happens is that you're a certain way, you're confident in yourself and everything else, but then when you become this victim person, now there's a lot of mental stress and scars and all these other things going on. All right, so mental health is affected, again, for the victim in all categories. I can imagine the bully is also impacted with guilt, remorse, attrition, empathy, all on some level, right? In some degree. Unless the bully is on a higher scale of violence, meaning of sociopathic proportions. Back to the signs to look for with this, right? Sleep deprivation, depression, anxiety, self-confidence, family ties. You break away from everything, kind of isolate from everybody. And more issues are based upon everyone's reactions to stress. Kind of like my episode on pain. Your level of pain might be 10, mine might be 1. You don't know. Just like these stresses and everything else. And that can lead to like medical issues with, having ulcers and you have all kinds of problems and you're stressed out and you can't sleep and everything else. These are all things that could definitely impact your ability to do what you do. The largest group of being bullied, of course, is ages 12 to 18. Due to school and the impact on being impressionable, impressionable young people, a vast percentage now with technology is cyberbullying. Remember, you're not alone. And this podcast, Strength in Numbers, is all who listen, and myself. Not to mention your support system and resources available in your community, right? So, anyway, there is a couple things here for you. The different types of bullying. You've got mental, you got physical, you got emotional, you have cyber. You've got all these different ways in which any time you feel uncomfortable and you feel like you're not in control of the situation and someone else is being aggressive towards you, that is actually bullying, right? That is completely bullying. That's what happens here, and that's the whole situation basically pertaining to all this, is that what we need to do is be a part. Like I said, if you know something's going on, don't be afraid to raise your right hand and be a part of the solution, not the problem. The problem is this happens way too much. It used to happen a long time ago, but yet people got disciplined a lot. Now, where's discipline at? Where's all these ways in which these people should learn a lesson? And it used to be that you got spanked or something else. Now it's, woe is me. It's all words. Well, those all don't do something sometimes. Like if you keep telling someone over and over again, quit putting your hand in the cookie jar or you're going to be in trouble. Well, or else, what does that mean? A long time ago, it meant one thing. Yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child kind of stuff. But now out today, it really doesn't help. And again, it's not helping the situation either. So back to it. So, you have support and you have people behind you in every community, state, and federal levels. You have this website called stopbullying.gov. It's all one word, .gov. It's STOP, bullying, BULLYING.gov. It's a website, and there's a hotline counselor standing by for the following. It's 1-800-273-8255. Don't be afraid to come forward to help stop this epidemic of violence. Right? And again, I don't condone what's going on in the world with everything else happening. I'm not going to beat you over the head with a bunch of statistics and numbers and all this other stuff. I just want you to know that you're not alone. confide in whoever you find most comfortable or the way in which you feel you can help get past the situation. Just know this, that you're either the solution to the problem being that we have way too much violence and way too many things that are going on that are getting going unchecked. People included, even down to breaking laws and all these other things that are happening, are not helping in this situation right here. We've had other situations too where there's an epidemic of people using, the phone, calling up different people and going in and trying to get them to commit suicide over the phone or over a chat room or something else. And so bullying on every level is not correct. A lot of it's now because of technology and everything else. You got cyberbullying, people go in these chat rooms and direct message places and all these other things. And they go in and they just, because they're behind a keyboard and they're not face to face, it's real easy for someone to sit there and pick a fight with someone or talk down to them, get up in their wheelhouse, mess their head up and everything else. And it doesn't help because a lot of people today out there, who knows what they're having to go through. We all don't know. We all know that we can also be on the receiving end of what happens. So down to the support part of it all. Look, whatever you can do, whatever you feel comfortable with, please do. Talking to a professional, as in a psychologist or, a psychiatrist or whatever else is going on in that capacity, or if it's in your family or it's one of your family members, one of your, close family members, or if it's a friend, or if it's, even this podcast, it doesn't matter. Look, you're not alone. There's strength in numbers. I'll speak for everyone here that in family and friends and everything else. I'll speak here freely that, look, I don't want to see this happen. It happens way too much. I mean, yes, there are some places that are covering this topic of discussion, but look, this is your opportunity to have to, having to deal with all these things and everything else. We're all here for you, be it at a phone number, be it at a website, whatever's going on. We don't want to see it happen over a phone with communication, with communication face to face. Cyberbullying, all these other things. Look, the bottom line is it's all wrong. It's all hateful, and it shouldn't be a part of what we have to deal with every day in life. We shouldn't have to get up in the morning, go off to what we're doing, and then also plan to have to give up lunch money or give up something else because somebody said so and someone's in your face about it and it's all about them and they deserve it and you don't. Look, whatever end of the spectrum you're on, I don't want to see this happen. Again, this is an awareness exercise, an opportunity for me. It's like doing research and therapy all at the same time. I love it. I love doing all this. I don't love the subject matter sometimes, and I don't want to see bad things happen to great people. But, we all have to face the facts that somewhere along the lines in our lives, we've all had to go through this. We may still be going through it. You may still be in the process of having to put up with this, deal with this, or whatever else is going on in your life. And none of us want this for anybody. I could go pages and pages of statistics and do all these other things. But ultimately, we want to get it to where it's a situation we all can either, we're on either the bully end or the victim end. Which side of that coin are you on? Again, question marks on everything here. If you can answer yes to being a bully, hey, by all means, please, slow your roll, figure out what's going on. What's going on with you? What's happening with you? Why are you being this way towards others? If you're on the victim end, how did you get there? Whatever's going on with you, we totally understand. Look, this is reaching out to you and an opportunity for you to possibly get help, do something else about it. Or maybe you can just, you stand up, you get angry, you stand up yourself, and you're like, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to sit there and deal with this anymore. I don't want to, right? That's what it comes down to. There's two sides of the story. It's kind of like two sides of a battery, positive and negative, right? Metaphorically, same thing. like I said, no one's alone. You're not alone. And if you are being bullied and things like that, you can stop the process many different ways. Again, I don't play a doctor. These are my opinions and ideas in this arena of ideas that I have. I'm not, I don't play a doctor at all. I'm just trying to be a voice of reason, give out this opportunity to get this out there for all of you. And look, this isn't some wonderful TV show or radio show where you have these talking heads and everything else, and they're all they're all giving out whatever they got to give out, and they're, whatever. They have the platforms and all these great things. Look, this is just a place to be aware of what's going on, bringing out what matters to you, matters to me, matters to all of us. I say it all the time. It's not just some words I speak. If after you hear all this and you want to seek other ways in which to handle the situation and to get some help, either being the bully where you can sit there and go talk to someone, a professional, to maybe figure out, why are you being this way? Why are you being so violent, aggressive, and all these other things that maybe you learned at home? A lot of bullies maybe had to grow up with a life of abuse, patterns of these things happening at home. They keep getting beaten down. So therefore they themselves also, what they learn, they give out good or bad, right? We all do. We all give out good or bad based upon the situation we're in. So if you're growing up, you're being mistreated, beaten down, all this sort of stuff. Now you want to fight back, and your way to fight back is to find a smaller, lesser person, be a cyber, physical, mental, emotional, all the different ways in which you can be bullied. We don't want that here. It's not a good, positive thing, but it's a way to be more aware in this episode. Again, there's ways in which to reach out here, reach out everywhere else, seek help and everything else, right? That's what we're looking at here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, basically that's what I have for this episode. Yeah, I could have written this out. I could have written dissertations. I could have, beaten everyone over the head with it is what I like to call it, for anything. I don't do that. We want to keep it all in context. We want to keep everything making sense to everyone else, talking about the issues and problems and things that we all have, or maybe it's other things too. Again, this can be comedy. It can be, serious issues like this. It could be anything. So just keep in mind, you're not alone. Everybody's here for you. For the most part, everyone's here for you, except for the bullies, of course. And whatever you're having to deal with and going on, if you're listening to this and this is hitting home and it's striking a nerve, if you will, please, by all means, reach out, do what you got to do. We've listed some things in here, and be a part of the discussion. I have a mailbag, I have email, I've got a phone number, I've got all the social media and everything else, the ways in which you can get a hold of me, right? So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break away. We're going to get a little bumper music going on. I'll go into the rest of the segments of this episode, and we'll tie a bow on it, as we call it, right? Everyone else knows that. So what's happening now is, again, I'm going to break into some bumper music, and then we'll get right back. We'll get in the comedy corner, maybe a little levity after all this heaviness. We'll be right back. I thank you for listening. This is the Arena of Ideas podcast, episode 31, Bullies on Parade, the hate they create. We'll be right back. All right. You know what that is? That's bumper music. But guess what? We're back to the next segments. We go into the little segments here. And if it's your first time listening, you'll get this. But anyway, so I do these jokes. They're pretty much dad jokes. I'm a dad, so why not, right? When in Rome, no pun intended. When in Rome, go check out the wonderful, best arena, the Roman Colosseum. Again, that's my picture of my podcast. Anyway, so I'm going to go into a few jokes here. And like them or not, if you don't like them, you want to hear other ones, please, by all means, let me know. Give me better jokes to talk about. I'm going to keep doing these. I get some people that really like the dad jokes. Why? Because everyone likes everything. It's not just one flavor of ice cream. It's all kinds of flavors, right, that we all take in and enjoy. So, all right, so here we go. If you're ready. I know I am. I know I'm ready. Okay, so what did the beaver say to the tree? It's been nice gnawing you. Yeah, I know, right? What did the late tomato say? I'm butchering it. Never mind. We'll skip that one. All right. Cross that one out. Okay. I have, let's see. Oh man, wow. Sorry. I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now. Wow, a little late on the laughter there. Hello. I made a belt out of watches. Once. It was a waste of time. All right, that'll work for now. How much can you butcher that, right? All right. That's the comedy corner. We're now going to dive into let's see. What should I do next? I'll go into the different situations here now, the other segments. I've got the mic check thanks to Nick and Pueblo. He knows who he is. He came up with the idea for the mic check, right? He did. And anyway, so what we've got here is I'm coming up with these little ideas and little sound effects you're going to hear between the different segments. Obviously, Comedy Corner has a laugh track. I've got a little sound effect type thing I'm doing now for the mic check and then also for Remember the Legends. Okay? So. Alrighty. What do you think, guys? You hate it, you like it, doesn't matter. I'm still going to put it out until further notice. All right, so this is the mic check. Kind of my love, my passion, everything else for music. All right, so today, again, her name is Chantel. She's also in your list of listeners. No pun intended. She's also a contributor now because, of course, she just helped me with this idea. She, if you remember back in episode 30, we were talking E-Twist, myself and E-Twist, and he had mentioned this rapper right here. Well, Chantel goes up to me, tells me, Mike, you know what? Come out with Russ the rapper. Name's Russ, R-U-S-S. All right? So, born September 26, 1992. Genres are rap, hip-hop, and R&B. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. Russell James Batali, Russ, rapper and singer, songwriter for years. He would release albums, songs, and mixtapes for free online, releasing his 12th album, going on to more albums and reaching Billboard charts many times over. Taking on producing as well makes Russ a multi-talented and faceted member of the music industry. Influences are basically 50 Cent and Eminem. Also got into classic rock and even was taught to play guitar. What a talented guy, huh? A prolific songwriter and performer, nearly putting out multiple albums and tours, makes Russ a fan favorite for sure. Insightful and intellect approaches to rap makes Russ a must listen. Check out his quite extensive catalog. Thanks, Chantel, again, for coming up with the idea of wanting to have a read about Russ. All right. So that's it for that one. Again, what do you think? If you like other ideas for anything, for the Comedy Corner, Mic Check, for Remember the Legends, even the topics of discussion dealing with any one episode, guess what? We're here for you. All righty, the sound you hear there, paparazzi, basically. Best I could do. Coming up with sound effects again. This is for the opening of Remember the Legends. Man, today one of my faves, really my faves. Period. I've been for a long time now. I've been collecting Stephen King novels. I love Stephen King. Amazing. This is what the Remember the Legends is about today, is Stephen King. Master of horror in writing. What an amazing person. Has done so much. Goes with the pen name of Richard Bachman. I think he has another pen name too. Anyway, so some of his influences, of course, Stephen King is like H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, probably a few other ones too that I haven't mentioned. It's okay. I'm just going to kind of a bio read, if you will, on him. What a prolific writer. He still keeps writing to this day. He still keeps putting out novels every year. And it's a legend what he's done. Legendary in books and also having in movies and things. Anyway, Stephen King is your wonderful Remember the Legend this episode. Born September 21st, 1947, Stephen Edwin King in Portland, Maine, where he was born. Let's see. Edwin John Swithin and Richard Bachman are his pen names. I had no idea the other one. I knew Richard Bachman. And also Beryl Evans. Wow, there's some crazy pen names there. Pseudo, it's kind of like a riddle wrapped in a mystery, right? Like about him. All right. Famous and a prolific author, noted for his humor, his horror, and suspense genres. He has written over 65 novels, 65, multiple novellas, 250 pages or more, and over 200 short stories in collection books, more than 10 collection books. Again, I have everything I possibly can get by Stephen King. Everything I've been collecting, everything. He has series of books that tie in together. Loves to reference things in Bangor, Maine, and many stories where he lives. His two major influences, of course, are H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe, maybe more. Was writing short stories in sci-fi magazines in the 60s. Basically, he got his writing chops there and then embarked on a book deal. Took a while to get the novel Carrie published, his first actual novel. Almost every novel a smash hit, many things written, making both the big screen and small screen. Check out his collection of his and Richard Bachman books, pen name, writings with my favorite writer. That's my favorite writer to me. Amazing, right? The guy is just amazing. Simply amazing. All right. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to get into the plug shops and shout outs. Shout outs is to everybody else listening and everything else. Props to the two people, Chantel, of course, Nick for the mic check, but basically Chantel for doing this, doing the part on mic check, but then the two people with the inspiration behind the episode. I want to thank Caesar and Dee for this, for coming forward and really wanting to get this out there. I do appreciate that. All right, as in every episode, I always try to put a plug in there. I try to plug business. I want to get people's business and names out there. I really do. I strive for doing this. I really do. I try. I make a concerted effort to try and get small business out there because it's the backbone of our country. Actually, everywhere in the world, but the entrepreneurial spirit and this hard work and effort and stuff all stems from that. And it's a big embodiment and big part of what we do in America. All right. So this time it's Burning Mountain Photography. It's a owner proprietor is Michael Baker. Really nice guy, really awesome guy. Has an offering of service dealing with photography and other medias. Excuse me. He can do pretty much all that. So, check out again, Burning Mountain Photography, owner proprietor Michael Baker, established in 2014, Burning Mountain Photography and Creative Studio, family, senior, and personal portraits, photography, videography on Facebook, email, and so basically you take the name Burning Mountain Photography at gmail.com. You can look by name and find it on Facebook and things. For timeless and professional handcrafted video and photography services, second to none. Capture memories and keepsakes to last a lifetime. Let Michael Baker turn what matters to you into visual perfection. Galore. So what you want is a personal, professional photographer. Consider Burning Mountain Photography for all of your photo and video needs. Couldn't find a phone number for him, but those are the ways in which to reach out to him. Again, putting the at gmail.com next to his name. He's on Facebook. You can find him that way too. Get with him and definitely look into it, because let me tell you something. It's important. Again, small business is important. Everyone out there is important. And again, Michael Baker, good luck to you with your business and everything else. And we'll go from there. All right. All right. So where do you stand with all this? Questioning the topic of discussion this time being in bullies, either being the bully or the victim. What we have to come to grips with is the fact that, it's going to happen. People are that way. You've got people, acting out and doing different things, and it's not going to work out. Or maybe it does work out because they become the bully. Maybe they become in a realization of what they're actually doing and they need to stop it. Maybe they do. And the victims themselves, again, guys, I'm not saying everyone can stand up, but if you can, stand up for yourself in the situation. It is ultra violent and stuff out there, but, we just want to see the best for all of us, right? When it comes to this episode. I want to throw out there that if this is your first time listening and this is your first opportunity to catch the Arena of Ideas podcast, I want to welcome you for being here and being a part of this entire process and everything else. And again, I'm simply the host. This is your podcast. This is your opportunity to have your voice heard, and what you want out there and what you want to put out there. It matters to me. It matters to you guys. Look, this isn't some TV or some streaming service or everything else, right? It's not. It is totally not. So that's what you have to consider when you're talking about all this. All right. Let's see. All right, let me throw in real quick before we close this thing up and wrap a bow on it. Streaming services, things to stream. I always have a long laundry list of that. Blind Spot. There's a show or something called Blind Spot. There's also one called Queen's Gambit. These are ways in which you can stream. Check out the series or whatever's going on, but see what you think. Again, those are two ideas, topical ideas on streaming that you have. All right. So anyway, so what happens is the fact that, if this is your first time, let me go back. Sorry to be on a tangent, guys. If this is your first time listening, by all means, welcome in. Thank you. Take all of it in. You'll obviously found one of the ways to listen on the 13 platforms and so on and so forth. I want to welcome you here. Welcome. You're among family and friends. This is what I consider it to be. This is my way to reach out and get information and things out there to everybody else. If you're back again, Lordy Lord, thank you. And tell me you're back. Okay. Tell me you're here. Tell me you're listening. Tell me you're a contributor and everything else, because guess what? You get in the listener contributor club, and I put your name down on there, and it's important to read off all that, because look, I want to build this and I want to make it the best it can be. So please do all these things like following, subscribing, any way in which you can get me to help the impressions grow in this podcast and keep building it up, keep becoming a more important part, integral part of what we all do. Everyone out there. I want to again thank you for everything coming out. Right? I want to thank everybody for being a part of what goes on here, what happens, and everything else. Pretty much it. This has been of course, the 31st episode. Can't believe I just love hearing that. At first, when I started out, I wanted to get to 5 episodes, then to 10, then to 15, then 20, 25, and so on. And it just keeps growing. So this is the 31st episode. Bullies on Parade, the hate they create. Right? Right. I want to, again, tell everybody thank you for this opportunity. Sprecher mainly. Hey, Sprecher, thank you. Big props. Again, can't say enough about you guys. Do a great job here. And so until next time, this has been your host, Mike Kingston of the AOI podcast, your podcast. Have the best of the rest of your day. And also know that I'm a man, a message, and a microphone for all of you out there. If it matters to you, it matters to me, to all of us, everywhere. I thank you again for taking the time out of your day to listen to this podcast. And until next time,